Ready?
The arcade experience growing up was a very special time for myself and a lot of you. Your mom or dad would give you a fistful of quarters, and you'd go off into a room that was lit up by arcade marquees and the glow of dozens of CRTs. I liked to seek out the games I knew I loved, like X-Men or Street Fighter 2. But once I got my fill of the usual, that's when I'd start wandering around and checking out stuff I've never played before. Nowadays, all I ever look for are arcade games I've never heard of or played. And I'm always looking for multiplayer games so I can play with a friendo. But sometimes you stumble across an arcade title that seems to be targeted towards one player. And I'm not talking about classics like Pac-Man or Donkey Kong. I mean action games like Act Fancer or Surprise Attack. In this video, we're going to talk about one of those single-player games, and it's pretty fucking bizarre. Let's check out this 1996 side-scrolling action game, Osman, developed by Mitchell Corporation. Go, save our people. Seek and destroy Abdullah the Slaver. We start off with a half-naked dude named Jack Lazon. Lays on these nuts!
Got him! Got him! Move this man!
Giving orders to, someone? I don't know if he's talking to this robot here, or if it's meant to seem that he's talking to the player. But regardless, why the fuck is this giant robot armed to the teeth just chilling in Jack's bathroom? Can he only make at gunpoint or something? Cut to the city of Agadan, and the game begins. Osman is a side-scrolling action game where you take control of Saban from Final Fantasy VI. Nah, his name is Kieran, a mercenary of a group called Techie. Now, I only know this information because I looked up the game after beating it, as the game doesn't explain damn near anything, which is fine. We don't play arcade games for plot, we put quarters in for awesome graphics and gameplay. Osman uses a 3-button system: attack, jump, and a super move. Kieran can also perform a slide and pick up power-ups that make copies of himself, much like in Ninja Gaiden 2. The game has different traversal options as well when making your way through a stage. Kieran can hang from a platform as well as climb walls. The action overall is pretty basic. It is somewhat balanced by the fact that some enemies don't really take too many hits to kill. It's not bad, but I can't say it's impressive at all. But what makes up for it is how badass everything looks. You got a buff protagonist, kicking and punching his way through bad guys, with a dope sci-fi background and a lot of color. Enemies turn into red mist when annihilated, and the animations are really clean and fast. The game is like cyberpunk kung fu. It's really awesome to look at. The stage designs are very interesting as well. It's not just going from right to left, but in all directions, as you encounter a lot of circular or curved areas, requiring you to climb and hang and make your way through. Honestly, a lot of the stages remind me of stages from like Sonic the Hedgehog, which then makes me want to go fast. Kieran even has the ability to gain momentum when you're walking long enough, but with the exception to like 1 or 2 parts of the game, it has no real use, nor will you ever stay on the ground long enough for it to be effective. Pretty much a waste of a mechanic if you ask me. And you know, there's something that's been bugging me. It may have bugged you as well while seeing this game. Doesn't it look familiar? Doesn't it seem like you have played this game before? Well, you kind of may have, as this game was designed by a lot of the same people that designed a somewhat well-known Capcom game. Yep, Osman was designed to be an unofficial sequel to Strider. Apparently, some employees of Mitchell Corporation used to work for Capcom, including Koichi Yotsui, the game's director. Making our way through the first stage, we approach a limo with some dude in blue armor on top. I'm just going to assume that this is what happens to Mega Man if he's sided with Dr. Wily. But hey, at least he's got a tight limousine. He rises up and we have an insane looking sub-boss. I mean, look at this thing. We got a lady spraying lightning from her vagina, some masked demon giant woman, and a dude that just stands there striking a pose. Seriously, this motherfucker does nothing. What a lazy prick. All while trying to dodge these floating butterflies. What a fucking trip. I actually thought this was the first boss, but it was just a sub-boss, one of many you'll fight in each level before getting to the actual stage boss. Speaking of which, we got this gnarly mutant tank with a chainsaw. Seriously, this is what would happen if you fuse a Metal Slug tank with a Hellgas trooper. This thing looks fucking bonkers. You destroy the terror tank thing and then the stage is clear. Great work! We are then presented with a cutscene where a glowing naked chick with no nips gets all huffy about us treading on her land. Then it's right to the next stage. But who the fuck was that? Seriously, everyone else you encounter in this game gets a name, but Flying Nude Goddess here is just a mystery. Maybe I missed something, but this nudist shows up several times through the game and I have no clue who they're supposed to be. And that's pretty much the flow of the game. Go through an awesome looking stage, kicking the shit out of everything in your path, defeat some bosses, and then watch a cutscene that makes no sense. Like when Jackie Boy here betrays Kieran and no reason is provided, or when out of nowhere Kieran is on some pirate submarine. The ending cutscene is mind-boggling as well. I am the true king. I am the king. I rule the world. Kieran was trying to rule the world this whole damn time? This game has no rules. It just does whatever it wants. And you know what? I fuck with it. Admittedly, it is kind of annoying that I have no clue what the hell is going on, but I get to see some dope pixel scenes. Like this one of Kieran chained in the desert and he's gotta fight some gross looking zombie monster thing, or the background during this boss fight of some neon Inside Out lady. This game just looks amazing, and I'd always be excited to see what the game would show me next. I would also say this game is pretty tough. There are lots of parts where you're just overwhelmed with enemies, and there's so much shit flying at you, you can't help but just get hit. For example, this endgame stage, you start out with enemies flying at you, chucking fire and shit, never leaving you alone, all while you have to hop on these crystals and maneuver around without taking too much damage, because all of a sudden you realize that you're in a fucking boss rush stage. So throughout the game when you die, you just continue from the same spot, but on this stage, once you die twice, you have to start over the stage from the beginning. So not only do I need to conserve health through this fucking obstacle course, but I gotta beat bosses as well? Good gravy, have fucking mercy. I died so many times on this stage, I actually thought I wasn't going to get past it. But I pulled my head out of my ass and I got it done. Osman isn't one of the hardest games I've played, but it definitely has some good challenge to it. I think Osman is a pretty cool game overall. Even though the gameplay isn't really that great, the graphics are so stellar that I didn't really care. The game even got a port to modern consoles in April 2023 called Cannon Dancer. It's always great to see arcade titles get some sort of port or remaster. Osman is fun and weird as shit, and playing it makes me want to check out other titles Mitchell Corporation has made. Have you played Osman? What did you think of it? Feel free to share your thoughts. Thank you for watching.